I have put a lot of effort into how I look today, so I hope you're happy. No one cares what am I talking about? No one cares. Anyways, I have bought more books this year than I have read. So let's just get into it. Actually, this is the first book I bought this year. It is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe by Douglas Adams. This is the second book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. If you don't know what the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is about, it's about this British man named Arthur Dent who finds out that his best friend is an alien when his best friend saves him right before the Earth is blown up, and hijinks ensue from there. So, and I read the Hitchhiker's Guide at the end of last year, and I really wanted to continue it this year. So this was, I learned about this on January 4th or something like that, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So, the next book I have here is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This book follows a young girl named Mary who, after her parents die, she's sent to live with her uncle, and she's kind of very sad and depressed, and then she finds this secret garden, and it kind of helps her with her emotions and stuff. So I read an abridged version of this when I was a child, and I really loved it, and I kind of have been wanting to read an unabridged version for a while now. This one was on the sale shelf at my library, and it's not too disgusting, and it's unabridged, so I got it. Dropping things. Another book that I got is a Shakespeare's Sonnet. This is the Folger Library Edition. I really like the Folger Library Editions. I kind of want to collect them all. Yeah, so this one is nice and floppy. I really like how it flops. Yeah, so I really want to collect all the Shakespeare in this edition. And I mean, the Folgers are usually pretty well annotated and pretty well edited, and they have pretty-ish covers, and I think they look nice together. And yeah, so I got the sonnets because this year is kind of a year of poetry. It seems like everyone's reading poetry, or at least everyone that I watch is reading a lot more poetry and a lot more interested in poetry, so seems like the thing to do at the time. The next book I have here is Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. This book follows, I believe, it's an angel and a demon who are just talking in a pub or something before the end of the world. So I mean, that just sounds like charming British comedy. So yeah, and I think it's gonna be a TV series later this year. So that'll be fun. See, the next two books I got are Down Among the Sticks and Bones and Beneath the Sugar Sky by Sean Ann McGuire. These are the next two in her novella series that continues on from Every Heart a Doorway. The conceit of this series is that there is a school for children. I don't know what it's called, but there's this school where children who have been to other worlds like Wonderland or Narnia, where they go to after they've returned from their magical worlds because they have a hard time adjusting. And yeah, I liked Every Heart Doorway. It's really interesting. And I've kind of been interested in continuing on with the series. The reason I got these though is because Beneath the Sugar Sky fulfills one of the challenges for the Pop Sugar reading challenge, and I didn't want to read them out of order, even though it doesn't matter. So I got them both. Let's see. Next up, I got A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. I have actually not read Hemingway before. And this seems to be a popular recommendation for first-time Hemingways by people on BookTube. Everyone seems to like it. It is nonfiction. I think it's like a memoir. Yeah, when he was in France in the 1920s with some other like expat writers like F. Scott Fitzgerald and Gertrude Stein. So I've probably enjoyed it too. So it's on my list now. Let's see. Next up, like the next 5 books are all from the Book Depository, so they're all like similarly sized and stacked together. If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler by Italo Calvino. I'm not sure if I could describe this. I haven't read it yet, so I don't really know what it is, and the back is not extremely helpful. But, you know, it shows up on a lot of lists, and it's just one of those things where I like feel like I probably should have read it by now. So, and then I got a Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. Strugatsky. This is a work in translation, and it's like a classic sci-fi sort of thing. I understand that like aliens have like come to Earth and they've like left things scattered about, and so the back says alien visitors, so they have visited, and I'm not sure if they're still present or not, but our main character is a collector of like artifacts that the alien visitors left lying around on Earth, and I guess his daughter is in trouble. So yeah, it's a classic sci-fi. So gotta get me some of that classic sci-fi. Speaking of classic sci-fi, it's a lot of classic sci-fi that I got from the Depository. I also got Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. So I thought this was a book of stories by him, but I think it's actually a novel. And I think, 2 boys go missing right before Halloween, and then it actually might be more horror than sci-fi or fantasy. I mean, I don't know what this is. It's Ray Bradbury. That's all I know. I should stop trying to talk about things that I don't know. Next up, I got The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury. I have read this before. This is a work of short stories by Ray Bradbury. It's pretty good. I just didn't own a copy, and this one is really, really pretty. Like, this is like a really, really gorgeous cover, and really gorgeous like imagining of The Illustrated Man. So I'm really into it. And then the last thing I got from the Book Depository is Foundation by Isaac Asimov. And this follows a guy named Harry Seldon, who is, I think, an economist who predicts that the galactic empire that has run for 12,000 years is going to fail in the near future. So he takes like a group of like other like brilliant, handsome, and attractive people, and like forms like a colony on a planet on like the edge of the universe that will survive the empire's collapse. So that's the conceit of that one. I also picked up Brick Lane by Monica Ali. This follows a Bangladeshi woman who moves to London for an arranged marriage, and just kind of like follows what happens to her, and you know how that works out. So, and then I picked up An Inheritance of Ashes by Leah Bobette. I have read this one before as well. A YA standalone fantasy novel. And I only gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, but like the more I like remember and reflect on reading this, I really, really enjoyed the experience of reading it. So I want to reread it and see if maybe I misjudged the story at all. So got that. I guess I'll read you the back. This like follows like a war that has taken place in this fantasy world, like the war has concluded. It is the aftermath of the war, and our main character is a girl named Tally, and her older sister Marth. Marth's husband is missing, and they have to hire a range hand who maybe something mysterious is going on with their new range hand. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I really do recall really enjoying the reading experience. So I'll reread that and talk about the story some more. And then the next book I got is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, and this is a novel that follows an older man. I think he's a veteran, and he dies for I think like a couple of minutes, and this novel like kind of follows what happened in the minutes that he was dead and the people he met in heaven, and like kind of like restores his faith in humanity, I assume. So, I'm talking a lot. Homestretch here. The next book I got is Geography in Bite-Sized Chunks by Will Williams. I was just wandering around Barnes & Noble and I saw this, and first of all, it's like a really pretty looking book, and if you watch like HGTV at all, like this is the kind of book, like either this book or like really old dusty cloth-bound books are the type of books that like home improvement people have on hand in warehouses to stage the houses for sale. So I got it slightly for that, a little bit for that. And also over like the last year and a half, I've come to terms with the fact that I do not geography. I could not like point to a country on a map and tell you A, its name, or B, its capital. And while I'm not sure like how important that really is in terms of like world knowledge, and also this book will not provide that to me, since like those things are kind of like constantly in flux anyways, like borders and countries and capitals and whatnot. I mean, not as in flux right now as they were, but like there are still like disputes going on and like countries trying to gain independence and losing, so like that's certainly in flux. But still, I'm not very knowledgeable. And this book is divided into 2 sections, which is the physical world and the human world. So the physical world would like go over like aspects of the geography of the planet, like coasts and climate and like tectonics and things like that. And the second section, the human world, will go over things like population and energy usage and tourism, and I think that would be really helpful for me to be a slightly more informed world citizen. So, next up, I got Educated by Tara Westover. Everyone and their mother has been talking about this. This came out last year. It is a memoir. Tara Westover grew up in a like Mormon fundamentalist cult, and when she was 17, she got out and went on to get 3 PhDs, despite the fact that she'd never received any formal schooling up until that point. And it's just a really talked about topical book, and there were like 100 people in front of me on hold at the library, so I just got a copy. And next up, lastly, I got The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. This book follows a young woman named a young woman who is not named in the description, who like finds some mysterious letters in her father's library that maybe have to do with like her mother's disappearance and like Vlad the Impaler and like historical vampires, and it just sounds really interesting. And also it's like one of those books that you like see on lists every now and then, and I am very much a reader of lists. So, yeah. Alright, now to hold all of these up. Gotta stack them again now. Gotta stack them. Gotta stack them. This is insane. There's way too many books here. This is not all gonna fit in frame. Oh, or will it? It will. Alright. Okay. Alright. I hope you have a good day and are reading more books than you are buying.